So what if the very ground beneath our feet isn't what we've been told it is? Today, in this explainer, we are diving headfirst into a debate that really questions our most basic understanding of reality. Are we living on a spinning globe, or is our world actually a flat plane?
You know, this whole thing kicked off with this one simple question, asked at the start of a debate between some flat Earth advocates and a military pilot. And it's such a powerful way to begin, right? Because it's not about winning or losing. It's about asking ourselves if we're even willing to question the things we think are absolute truths.
So just to be super clear, our goal here isn't to pick a winner or to tell you who's right. We're here to really break down the core arguments, to try and understand the logic and the evidence that both sides use to build and defend their entire worldview.
Okay, so the first major point of conflict, it starts with the most basic thing imaginable, something we all experience every single second of every day. What is it that keeps our feet planted firmly on the ground?
And right here, this is the first big fork in the road. In the globe model, the answer is simple. It's gravity. But for the flat Earth model, the existence of gravity itself is the real question that needs to be answered. So here's how that fundamental split looks. The globe model, as we know, explains this with gravity, this incredible force that pulls everything toward a central mass. But the flat Earth model, it throws gravity right out the window. Instead, it proposes that it's all about density. A rock is denser than the air, so it falls. A helium balloon is less dense, so it rises. They argue this all happens inside some kind of invisible energy field, an electrostatic field that's constantly pushing down and sorting everything by its density.
And here's where things get kind of interesting. The pilot who is defending the globe model, she actually adds a little bit of nuance here. She says that as a scientist, she has to stay open-minded. And that means treating even the most established ideas as theories, not as unshakable absolute truths.
So this whole disagreement over gravity, well, it leads directly to the next huge question. What is holding our atmosphere in place, right next to the total vacuum of space?
Now, a huge piece of the flat Earth argument hinges on a really basic principle of gas pressure. Just think about the air inside a car tire, right? It needs the container, the tire itself, to maintain all that pressure. Without it, the air would just expand out into nothing. This idea is absolutely central to their next point.
And here's where you really see that conflict play out. In the globe model, gravity basically is the container. It's what holds our atmosphere close to the Earth. But for flat Earth proponents, that's just impossible. They argue that without a real physical barrier, like a giant dome, our high-pressure atmosphere would just instantly rush out to fill the empty vacuum of space. It's a classic case of an uncontained gas.
Okay, so we've got all these big, theoretical ideas, but how do they actually play out in the real world? Well, since one of the people in this debate is a military pilot, the conversation, of course, turns to aviation.
This is the classic question. It's the one that flat Earth proponents love to ask pilots. I mean, think about it. If the Earth really is a giant ball, shouldn't pilots have to constantly be nosing the plane down so they don't just fly straight off into space?
So once again, we're looking at the exact same action, flying a plane, but it gets two completely different explanations. For the globe model, gravity does all the heavy lifting. It's automatically guiding the plane along the Earth's curve. For the flat Earth model, well, the explanation is way simpler. The plane is just flying straight over flat ground. That's it.
But the pilot's response is that this nosing down isn't a conscious action. It's not something a pilot actively does. She argues it's just built into the physics of flight itself. The aircraft is constantly and automatically falling around the curve, and it's a process that is totally, completely imperceptible to anyone on board.
All right, let's step out of the cockpit and get our feet back on solid ground. Because a huge part of this debate really comes down to what we can see, or what we think we can see with our own two eyes. Let's look at how each side sees the horizon. Ah, the Chicago skyline, seen from all the way across Lake Michigan. This is a classic battleground for the debate. For flat Earth proponents, seeing the skyline at all is proof positive the lake is flat. I mean, otherwise, the whole city should be hidden by the curve of the planet, right? But for the globe model, this is actually a textbook example of atmospheric refraction, where light literally bends around the Earth's curve under just the right temperature conditions, making something that should be impossible totally possible. So this whole disagreement over the horizon, it really just boils down to one single phenomenon: refraction. For the globe model, refraction is a well-understood scientific effect that explains how light can bend around the curve. But for the flat Earth model, refraction is just this
overly complicated excuse for a very simple observation. You can see things that they say should be hidden.
So, as you've probably figured out by now, this isn't really just about facts and figures. At its heart, it is a fundamental clash of how we decide what is actually true. I mean, it really boils down to two completely different ways of knowing something. One approach is to trust the established scientific model to interpret the data that we see. The other approach, it's to trust your own personal observations above all else, and to reject any model that seems to contradict what your own eyes are telling you. And this quote just perfectly captures that frustration. From the flat Earth perspective, seeing a clock 20 miles away is a simple, observable fact. But to make that same fact fit into the globe model, they feel it requires this bizarrely complex explanation, a holographic projection as they put it. It really highlights that battle between what they see as simple observation versus needless complexity. Ultimately, this whole debate pushes us to ask a much bigger question. When the very same piece of evidence can be used to support two completely opposite conclusions, what even is proof? It kind of suggests that what we end up believing really comes down to which framework, which model we choose to trust when we look out at the world.